Hey guys, Lizardlea here for Bear and Holiday Pearls. This is the one that's gonna be one. Look at him, he's so cute. He's so cute. This is the last video I'm gonna have of my hair 3 feet long, and I have my hair up, so I'm getting even more excited every day that passes with cutting my hair, because when I get headaches, like, you know, it's so much worse because my hair is so long. Like, yes, my hair is incredibly thin and it's very light, but there's so much of it. And then I live in Las Vegas and it gets hot here. Like, I think the only way I would let my hair grow back to this length again is if I moved, like, back to Germany or back to Colorado, somewhere cold, or at least cool most of the year, because the desert is just not kind when your hair is this long. Okay, I'll just do it one more time. Just here. You can see how extra long my hair is. Oh, I can, yep, wrap it around more than once. Okay, I'm gonna go cross stitch now. So we're talking about Fargo.
We're talking about Fargo.
Fargo. So season 1 starred Martin. Freeman? Is it Martin Freeman? Is that his name?
Pretty sure. Watson.
Watson. Yes, for Sherlock, and he's also Bilbo Baggins from
that's right.
the Hobbit movies. I really liked the season. There weren't a ton of characters that I liked. Like, a lot of them were just mean and not good people, including Martin's character
He
in
thought
particular.
Good people is, accurate, just a tad.
Yeah, no. I mean, my favorite people survived, which was like, oh my god, that doesn't happen to me!
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Yeah, I liked that the most competent person on in season 1, we're discussing season 1 right now, was the female detective. Like, the sheriff, the new sheriff is a dum-dum. He has good intentions. What?
It's the guy who plays Better Call Saul, Bob Odenkirk.
Yes,
yeah.
Saul. He has great intentions. He always does. But he doesn't know what he's doing. He's not very good. But she knows what's up. And she goes for it. And I really appreciate that.
So yeah, a little maybe background on this one. You haven't seen the movie, right?
No, I've told you that.
So for those of you who've seen the Fargo movie, if you enjoyed that, you definitely like the show. Even if you haven't seen the movie, it doesn't matter. It's not in any way, shape, or form related to the show, other than the events of the show happen near Fargo, which is a town in North Dakota. These events, I believe, are in Minnesota for season 1, I think, yeah.
I don't know. You have the page open.
It looks like yes. I don't want to look that hard. So, short version, yeah, you don't need to watch the movie or anything. It's sort of a dark comedy taking place in Northern America, where, everybody talks like this, eh?
It's great.
Yeah.
I love their accents.
And the fact that it's all very folksy and whatnot contrasts starkly with some of the horrible violence that occurs.
Oh yeah, like it's brutal. If you guys don't like violence and whatnot, do not watch this show.
I mean, it's not.
People get shot
it's not,
and there's blood. No.
I wouldn't. It's definitely not for the faint of heart, but it's not like hyper gore either. Is kind of what I'm getting at.
Okay, well, it's not Courtney approved.
I know.
And that's a low bar. Okay. So.
Well, yeah, people get shot. So.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be very sad and very dark.
There were a lot of times when I was screaming at the TV because I was like, this character's an idiot! This character's so stupid! Why would they do that? But it wasn't character for the character they had created.
Yeah.
So, like, me, if I were suddenly transposed into that person's body, I would not have made those choices. I would not have done that. But that...
Person.
It was in character for them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it also stars Billy Bob Thornton as well.
Oh, he's good. Very scary.
So yeah, I mean, it's a really, really good show. It's got a lot of, like, every season has a lot of those kind of, like...
He's seen 2 seasons, you guys.
Well, we're watching a third right now.
We're not done with it.
And I've seen ads for the 4th.
Okay.
Every season kind of stars some, like, maybe not B-list actors, but, like, A-list actors who you haven't seen as much of, you know? Like, oh yeah, I know that person, or oh yeah, I know that person. That's kind of just, I sort of intentional, I think.
I mean, I knew more than half the people in season 1.
Yeah.
And I know probably almost half of the people in season 2.
Yeah. It's
no, I knew more than half in season 2, and I know so far about half for season 3. So.
And I think my main point there is just that everyone who's in this does an amazing job. Like, they're all really great roles. They're all well executed.
Small characters, it's great.
Yeah. And, so yeah, the main idea of season 1 is, you know, sort of just someone who's kind of, a bit of a loser snaps. And not even exactly snaps, like, but it sort of starts this cascade of mayhem.
Yeah, like the first thing that happens is his wife, who I absolutely hated, by the way. She was probably my least favorite character on that.
She is designed to be that way.
She's a disgusting human being. She trash talks her husband, and her husband is the schmuck. And she's like, you know, I married the wrong brother. Your brother does this, and he's got so much money, and she's just praising him to high heaven. And Martin Freeman's character is just like, oh, okay, honey. And he goes out, and he works for, like, a travel agency, if I recall correctly.
Insurance agency.
Insurance agency, that's what it was. And sometimes that would handle travel insurance.
Yes.
That's what it was. And I think he's on his way to work, or he's leaving, something like that. And he gets stopped by this guy and his 2 sons, and the guy's just like, oh, hey! Nygaard is his last name, and he makes a slur out of it. I'm not going to say that. I'm not comfortable with that word. And he's just like, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, I used to pick on you, and you're still small. Because he's like a foot taller than Martin Freeman. And he punches him. And Martin Freeman just goes around and he tells everybody that he slipped on the ice outside of work. He wasn't punched, he just slipped. And you know how icy the roads and the sidewalk are. And so everybody believes him. And then he snaps.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of interesting.
Well, I mean,
he doesn't exactly snap because it's sort of the interest.
It's a passion moment for him. Like,
there's a moment before that is also very important because there is a passion moment where he does snap, but there's a moment before that that also kicks off major events in the plot that he doesn't even necessarily realize what he's doing in that moment with Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about his wife.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh, okay. You mean at the hospital?
Yes. Because that's also kind of majorly...
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought that was hilarious.
Yes.
Like, he was like, you didn't say no. And I'm just like, he did say no! He did say no! But he did say no at first. Then when he walked away, it was silence. But he did say no at one point.
Whatever.
Right?
So, point is, it's a lot of, like... people in situations they didn't expect, they didn't plan for, people who are, like, abhorrently evil in the mix of all this, and it's a really good show. The writing is top-notch, the characters are excellent, the pacing is good. I have very few complaints with Season 1. And I'd have to, like, sit down and think about, like, what didn't I like? Like, there's so many moments I can point to as, like, yeah, that was great, or... if it wasn't great, like, I could see why someone else would find this great. You know, it's at the very least good. Lots of funny scenes, lots of stupid scenes. And, yeah, as you already pointed out, like, when someone does something that is rock-bottom stupid, like, it can be really annoying when you're watching a show or reading anything, you know, any sort of narrative. And a character does something rock-bottom stupid because it's needed to continue the plot. So... the character who has you know, never lied their entire life, tells a really stupid lie, or the couple that always gets along gets in a fight, or just whatever it is to get the plot moving, and it feels very heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Every moment that I can think of that's like this in this, where it's like, oh my god, why would you do that? It makes sense. Yeah, like... it's like, because that character would do that. They're arrogant, or they're stupid, or and they've earned the moment. They've completely laid the groundwork. So, I don't know, it's just, it's very, very good. I'm not going to spoil any of it, I don't think. It's not, like, dramatically well shot. Like, I can't... that's one of the...
I mean, there were some really good shots.
There were, but, like,
But it wasn't... Like, we didn't constantly go, like, oh my god, that's a great shot. Yeah. It was, like, once
Given
every
how
2 episodes or something.
Gush about that on other things. It doesn't come to mind on this one.
Yeah.
But it's not the point of the show, either. It's mostly about being hilarious and,
and dark.
Disturbing.
It's a dark comedy. Like,
yeah. And it's like a thriller mystery vibe as well. Like, you know, who's going to solve what case, what's going on, why are they doing this, how are they doing this. There's lots of little side stories. And again, just if you've watched Fargo or if you like the Coen brothers, you know they do great characters. And although this isn't the Coen brothers, I'm like 99% sure. Yeah, it doesn't appear to be the Coen brothers.
Mentioning the Coen brothers?
Because they made the movie.
Okay.
It still has that Coen brothers feel. Like, the characters feel like they would fit right in. They've done an incredible job in that regards. My food's been delayed.
Sorry.
Yeah, happened. So, yeah. Is really good. You should watch it. I think you really enjoyed it. Like, and that was the other thing, is I just put it on because, like, we run into kind of a dead end with some of the other stuff we were watching or weren't feeling it. And I was like, you'll like it. And I think it caught your attention, which is fair to say, because it's competing with RimWorld.
I RimWorld while I watch, and I'm still enjoying it immensely. So
yeah.
And I remember the majority of it.
Yeah. And even though it's got like a lot of characters and a lot of plots going on, I think it's very parsable.
Yeah.
It's not too confusing.
I mean, each character is a character. I feel like everybody is fully realized. I mean, maybe not the kids, but they're kids. You can't expect a lot from a child actor.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to. But, yeah, I thought they all did great.
Yeah.
The detective's dad was one of my favorite characters. Absolutely loved him. Shall we transition into season 2?
Yeah, sure.
So season 2, it takes place...
Really quickly. Season 1 takes place in 2006, which is relevant because we're watching Season 3, which takes place in 2010, and something just happened, so that's good to know the timeline between the two.
Okay.
The last episode we watched at the very, very end.
So I was transitioning to Season 2, and you jumped to 3.
I know, just because I wanted to bring that up while I remembered. So anyways, yes, Season 2...
Season 2 takes place prior to Season 1.
1979.
And one of the characters is that dad I mentioned prior to David weirdly interrupting me to segue to Season 3.
You're welcome.
Which is just, it makes no sense. We're not in a time travel movie, don't do that.
So in Season 3...
No. We haven't even finished it. And I still really like that dad character. He hasn't fully become who he is for the Season 1, you know, the older guy, but he's still... The actor does a great job portraying what that guy would have been like when he was younger, and I really liked that.
Yeah.
And you get to meet, you know, his daughter when she was very, very young, and I really liked that.
And I was just going to throw out there that I don't think, at least so far, you have to watch these in any particular order. There's extra things you'll pick up on, because you're like, oh, that's this or that's that. But they're little cameo things. They're not like, oh, you're going to be completely lost if you watch Season 2 first or something. Like, no, they so far all completely stand alone. There's a chance 3 doesn't, which is why I made that weird segue, but so far it does. Sorry, go back.
What was I gonna say?
Season 2.
Oh, okay, so...
Or should I summary it?
Go ahead and summary it, then.
Okay. Because you're messing around on the computer.
Yeah, it keeps going to sleep, and it's making me angry.
Your computer takes naps.
Yeah.
So Season 2's setup is... There's a gangster family in, again, Minnesota, different city, that has kind of run the town, you know, not majorly, but like they run a lot of the criminal activity through the town. and the father of the family, who kind of rules with an iron fist, has a stroke fairly early on. Grandpa, sorry, yeah.
He's also the grandpa from Teen Wolf, so if you guys like that actor, he's also in this show.
For one episode.
Yeah.
He has a stroke and he doesn't do much from then on.
Yeah, it's really disappointing because that man is a great actor and they underutilized him. Like, they do flashback at one point to him when he was younger, so he actually, got to use his acting chops, but
yeah,
I was sorely disappointed with that because I was just like, I know how good of an actor this guy is, and they mostly just have him in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like, and he can't do anything. Like, he can't move. He can't control himself. He's basically a vegetable.
So, before the stroke, he has his wife, who kind of runs the organization with him, and then his 3 sons, and they have a daughter and a son, who are all relevant. It's this big family. Mm-hmm. The youngest of the 3 sons is kind of a screw-up, and he tries to do something, and without spoiling too much, but this is first episode stuff.
I mean, it's within the first 15 minutes of the show.
He's trying to do some stupid scam involving typewriters, like he's probably getting played anyways, and he tries to threaten a judge, and it goes south, and he winds up killing 3 people in a diner in the middle of nowhere, including this judge, and then getting hit by a car. And the car that hits him, he's like in the windshield, drives off. So you have no idea what happened to him, and you know that all these people are dead, and it sort of starts this giant, chaotic cavalcade of mess, because nobody knows what anyone's motivations were, and it's not what you would think. Well, some of it's exactly what I said, but some of it's not. So, yeah, that sets off this huge thing. There's the Kansas City mafias trying to move in. The grandpa, as I mentioned, has a stroke, again, very, very, very early on. And so now it's sort of a power struggle between the grandma and the 2 remaining sons. And then there's the, who else do we have? We have the cop that Liz already mentioned, who's the dad of the other character, blah, 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 blah. He's just sort of the poor schmuck trying to solve this.
Oh, he's not, well, okay, yeah, he is a schmuck in that sense.
Yeah.
But he's competent.
Yeah, no, he knows yeah. And his father-in-law is also helping him. They're really a great pair / chemistry.
I love the father-in-law.
Yeah. He's very well done.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have, the other kind of point of view is this butcher and his wife is played by
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst, that's right.
And she made me so angry that entire show. But my favorite scene from the whole show has her at the center of it.
She has an arc.
Oh, she does.
It's an annoying arc, but it is an arc, and I get it.
And it's
and
again,
it's
just
well
like season
delivered.
1, I felt like everybody was in character, and the decisions they were making made sense for how they were
even
presented.
if rock bottom stupid,
Yep.
for the most part.
I mean, the first decision you see in the movie is the stupidest thing ever, so...
One of them, yeah.
One of them, yeah.
So, yeah, and then the other noteworthy thing is, you've got the Kansas City Mafia moving in, which has one of my favorite characters, Mike Milligan, who is played by...
That guy's a great actor.
I keep meaning to look up the actor. Let me look him up real quick, because he is very, 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 very good.
I'm terrible with names.
Not a lot of people people are very mixed on his role.
Really?
Yeah, because they either like it or don't, because he kind of monologues and comes off as sort of this pseudo-intellectual, but I feel like that's kind of the point.
That's what he was supposed to be.
Yeah. So it kind of comes down to, okay, where the heck?
Just type in Mike Milligan.
I'm doing that.
There you go. Bokeem Woodbine.
Yes, Bokeem Woodbine. There you go. I swear I've seen him in something else, and I really liked it.
We
I
have.
don't know what it was.
Oh, Riddick.
Riddick? Okay, yeah.
Overlord.
As we stare at, like, Wikipedia lists. Yeah, I don't know what it was that I saw him in that I'm like, oh, yeah, I love this guy. But he does a great job. It was a TV show. But, and it's just, like I said, he's sort of the pseudo-intellectual kind of guy, and they're the scary guys trying to move in, and is it going to be war with this other family, the Gearharts? And then you have, Mike Milligan and him. You have
the drama with the person who hit the son with their car, and the mafia family going after them.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, like, we didn't try and murder him, because the the Gearharts are under the impression that the person whose car hit their son and killed him, that they were hired by Mike Milligan's people, right?
Mm-hmm.
To kill him. And that's absolutely not what happened, as far as we know, at least. And so it's just, there's just so much confusion, and people they're not talking. Or maybe they are talking, but they're not listening and understanding.
Yeah. So the other character I was trying to remember was Hansi, the Native American guy who works for...
Oh, yeah.
The Gearhart family has this Native American guy named Hansi.
And they treat him basically
like shit, yeah. Like, surprise. But he does an amazing role.
Servant.
He's played by Zahn... I'm going to mess up his name. McLarenon? I don't know. I know I've seen him in, like, a few things.
McLarenon?
Yeah, he's in Longmire, Fargo, Westworld.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
And Bone Tomahawk.
They get great actors on every season that I've seen.
And he does a great job for what he has to do. And just, like, it's really, really good in just about every direction.
Like, the only thing I want to say is, like, so one of the things DJ and I discussed right after we finished season 2 was there were specific scenes in season 2 that were just spectacular, like 12 out of 10. And if I were to rewatch it, I'd probably just kind of want to skip ahead to those scenes. But if it goes to season 1, I'd rather watch the entire season. So there weren't specific moments that stood out to me with season 1 where I'm like, yeah, that was great, I want to rewatch that. It's something I'd want to rewatch all of. Versus season 2, it would depend. Like, I might want to rewatch all of it, I might just want to see specific scenes.
I think straight up season 1 is the better show.
Oh, yeah.
Season 2 is still a very good show, but it has some pacing issues. Yeah. And it has some plot issues. Mm-hmm. How it handles certain things. Oh, the lawyer's really fun. Who plays the lawyer?
The lawyer in season 2?
Yeah. Let me look.
Funny, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was hilarious. But it has some... Nick Offerman, yeah.
Yes.
It has some serious pacing issues in how it both kind of starts, like, where you're like, okay, this is a lot, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to care about here. And then I personally feel in how it ends, it suffers a little. It kind of... Oh, what's the right word? I don't know. It doesn't jump the shark. It doesn't...
It doesn't have the gravitas that season 1 does.
Yeah, and it's not as clean. Like, season 1, everything flows. Season 2 has to rely on some tropes and some tricks to kind of make it all make sense. And it's a shame because I think it could have been done much more elegantly. And they just didn't, and I don't know if that was a stylistic choice or what, but it didn't come off quite as cleanly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it's still a good show. I would still highly recommend it above many, many, many other things. So yeah, of the two, I definitely think season 1 is better. But season 2 is still fun. I wouldn't.
There was only one thing about season 2 that just pissed me off, and that was the UFO.
Yeah.
That was it. Everything else I was fine with, but that just annoyed the heck out of me.
I mean, there's no way for us to talk about it without spoiling it, so I can't go into it. But all I'll say is that also annoys the heck out of me. But I'm at least glad that if they were going to do what they did, they committed hard to it. They didn't, like, I have often complained about, like, directors, especially Eggers, doing things where it's like, well, maybe this did happen, or maybe it didn't. Is our character crazy or whatnot? And at the very least, that's not at all in question here. Like, multiple characters all had the same experience and even comment on it. So, if you're going to do it, at least they did it, air quotes, right,
See, and I feel like if you're going to do something like that, there needs to be a reason, and
I see some of the reason.
I didn't feel like there was a reason at all.
Well, so for all of these, the goal is to kind of capture a feeling, and they're definitely trying to capture the feeling of the 70s with this action. Certain things that were popular back then and like a big deal, especially in small northern towns. So I get that, but and again, there was apparently an inspiration because I like read up on this the moment I finished the season because I'm like, what the heck was that about? So I kind of get it, but I think the problem is that in the way they do it and when they do it and how they do
There's already too much going on.
Well, it also it sort of takes some of the validity of the rest of the season Because there's little hints here and there that something like that might happen. Oh, yeah, it's all over the place if you're
What?
looking for it. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I guess I have to rewatch season 2, you guys.
I mean, yeah, no, it's all over the
Mr.
place.
Robot's better. If you haven't watched Mr. Robot, you gotta watch Mr. Robot. Sorry,
I agree
continue.
with that, yes.
That one I rewatched immediately, and it was still just amazing.
Yeah, and they're not, like, great hints, but there's definitely little things where you could easily be like, ah, that was definitely on purpose to make you think it might be related to that scene. And even, like, going back through season 2 looking for that stuff, like, it didn't feel like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to finally figure out what's going on here. It just felt like, ah, yeah, they definitely did all this on purpose. But not much more than that. So, it's kind of a shame, because it definitely, that plus the fact that they kind of have to, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, they have to narrate motivation for somebody at a certain point. Because, well, I think it's basically clear. It feels almost like they didn't feel they could convey it right, which I feel like is just a waste of how they spent their time on certain characters, because it should have been really easy to pivot in what they wanted to do. But instead you get that sort of heavy-handed, like, oh, he's doing it for this reason from a third-party narrator, kind of out of nowhere.
Which character?
The one at the end who decides to do certain things to everyone around him.
Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me.
Given how easily they could have not needed to do that, I feel like it was very inelegant to need to do that.
Okay.
And very pace-breaking, because they hadn't done that with anybody else, and I kind of get why they did it, but it almost felt like they were talking down. We're like, hey, in case you didn't notice, here's why he's doing this. Like, really? Really? In case I didn't notice? Like,
I gotcha.
They have laid some freaking groundwork for this decision.
I mean, yeah, I will say, like, if thinking about what happened when they started with the narration, if they hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have needed the narration. I would have understood why he was doing that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, it was pointless is what it was.
Well, I'm sure there's some people who are like, well, I didn't follow, or whatever, so who knows? I don't know. It doesn't feel... It feels off, is the short of it. So yeah, that's season 2, and then we've almost finished season 3.
But we haven't finished it yet.
No, but so far I really like it.
I think so far at least, I would put it above season 2. Possibly above season 1. I'm not sure. I'll have to continue and see where it goes.
Yeah, I think depending on how they stick the landing.
Because my favorite character on it is the girl who was from Cloverfield Lane. That actress.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yes, she is amazing, and her character is so interesting. It's insane.
Do I know her from anything else?
I don't know, honey. I thought you already looked it up.
I'm looking now. I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about this one. She was in Birds of Prey. God rest her career.
Oh, The Thing. The remake?
Yeah.
Oh, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. She was Ramona Flowers. That's what I really know.
Was she the vegetarian?
No, she was the main character.
Was she?
Yes, the one who colored her hair a lot.
I didn't love that movie.
Really? I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it.
I think it's kind of overrated, but that's a separate
Final
subject.
Destination 3, she was the main character.
Yeah, I have not watched most
I
movies.
love the Final Destination movies.
Was she
Oh
in
my
TV?
gosh.
She was in... Yeah, I don't know this lady from much. But she does an amazing job. Like, her character is easily one of the most interesting in the season.
She is a wonderful actress.
But I'll straight say that, like, so with season 2, you have that large family, and some of the characters are there just to be dislikable. And while they're dislikable, they're still somewhat interesting, but they're definitely very one-note, like Dodd. You pretty much know where they're going with Dodd every time he's on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, it's not surprising, and it's not super interesting. Whereas with season 3, there's one character I frickin' hate because I feel like it's weak writing, but the rest of them are all super fascinating. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do. I don't always know what their motivations are, or I'm like, you know, they feel like people, they don't feel like plot devices. And that's definitely making me like season 3 a ton, because 2 struggled a little bit with that. And so far, 3 has had some major, like, oh, wow moments.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh.
See, it's contagious.
We're having way too much fun with the accents.
Yes,
not
accents
gonna lie.
are... Yeah. Yeah, no. it's pretty much all we do. And season 4 is out. That's why we're watching these. So we're going to start right into season 4 after this. So you'll probably have to deal with another episode of us talking about this.
That is the end of Bear for Holiday Pearls. I got 4 hours and 12 minutes of footage. So it was the second longest one. The only other one that took me longer were the mittens. There he is. He's so cute. So, gotten 5 done so far. Don't really have anything else to talk about, so like, subscribe, share, comment, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys in the next video.